All right, so we're going to be talking about Ethereum now, but before we do so, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, basically FXStreet. Just make sure to hit that subscribe button in there, since we're usually bringing you a lot of TA on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, just updating you about everything that is going on in the market. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter at Ali_charts. Also, you can follow Akash, right, with basically Smack and Co with a 0 at the end. And you can also follow Jonathan on Twitter. His Twitter handle is basically just analysis1. Now, when we're looking at Ethereum from an on-chain perspective, one of the main things that I can see, right, is that the $3,200 resistance level is the most significant price point for Ethereum to actually resume its uptrend, right? So until we see Ethereum trading below the 3,200 resistance level, I will be leaning bearish, because there is literally no significant support underneath it that can prevent it from a steeper decline. I mean, when we look at the global in and out of the money around price, it basically tells us that the most significant support level underneath Ethereum sits between $1,500 and $2,300 with an average price of 1,900, right? So I mean, as long as Ethereum continues to trade below $3,200, there is still a possibility that it could dive towards 2,300, maybe $2,000, right? So be aware of that. Now, when you look at the on-chain metrics, one of the main of the metrics that I like to pay a lot of attention to is basically the number of new addresses joining the network, because it tells you whether interest is coming in, or basically interest is winding down. As we can see in the most recent uptrend, right, basically from the July 20 rebound that we saw up towards $4,000. We saw that the number of new addresses on the network were basically increasing. It didn't necessarily make a higher high, right, compared to the high of June 29th, but it was basically increasing, right, alongside with prices. But now, basically, this metric has been going down, and it actually did a lower low. So basically, on August 30th, the number of new addresses shown in the network was around 87,679, and today it's hovering around 87,182. So that lower low right there in the number of new addresses joining the network has me a little bit concerned, and I do believe that Ethereum could basically dive lower unless it is able to reclaim $3,200 on support. Now, from another thing that I was looking at, right, is that, I mean, basically some of the on-chain metrics got a little bit crazy with what's going on in China, right? With the recent Chinese crackdown, we saw a large number of idle Ethereum tokens, exchanging hands over the weekend, right? As many of these Chinese investors were trying to protect themselves from the new measures from the Chinese government. Interestingly enough, we also saw a significant decrease in the number of Ethereum tokens available on basically exchanges or trading platforms, right? As we continue to see basically a significant exodus of tokens out of trading platforms and out of circulation, that significantly also reduces the selling pressure behind Ethereum. So for this reason is why I believe that Ethereum's downstream could be potentially capped at anywhere between $1,500 and $2,300. I believe that this demand barrier right here will be able to literally just absorb some of the selling pressure, because that selling pressure has been significantly declining with all the tokens that have been burned, and basically all the tokens that have also been put out of circulation, and all the tokens that are moving outside of exchanges. So yeah, so for the midterm or short term, I'm leaning a little bit bearish unless Ethereum manages to break above $3,200. But my downside target ranges, between 1,500 and $300, right? On the upside, I'll be waiting for a decisive daily candlestick close above 3,200. And if that happens, then I will flip the switch and basically turn bullish on Ethereum. And I'll be targeting $4,000 or even maybe a new all-time high of $5,000. Whereas of right now, once again, I'm just waiting for a daily candlestick close above $3,200. Otherwise, I will just continue with the bearish BS. I don't know if you, Jonathan, are looking at something different from a technical perspective.
Nope, still pretty bearish on it. I don't see anything that says time to jump on the perma bull yet. It still looks very much to the downside.
Yeah, do you wanna share your technical perspective with the audience?
Sure thing. I pulled it up right now. All right. Can you see it okay?
Yep.
So within the Ichimoku system, it's sitting right on its really the last level. I mean, it hit this 100% expansion earlier, and Senko Span B's at the current daily is sitting down at 2,800, but then by tomorrow and over the next 5 days, it'll be at 2,800. Essentially, a breakdown below 29 to 2,800 is going to target 2,500, where it might find a little bit of a bounce. And the only reason it's going to find a little bit of a bounce is because the lagging span will treat it as support. It looks a lot like Bitcoin's chart in this respect. Actually, all the cryptocurrencies have similar looking daily cloud setup. But when I'm looking at the RSI here, when you look at the levels in a bull market, the last oversold condition in a bull market on the RSI is 40, which it's been oscillating between 50 and 40. Essentially, we've formed a bull flag on the RSI and on the composite index. And when it dips back down below 40 again, things get shifted in the RSI to bear market levels. So oversold becomes 30 and 20, and overbought becomes 65 and 55. And that's where things get really interesting, because the downside, excuse me, the downside, range is substantial still. And right here at 1,800, that is kind of where I see it returning to. I mean, this is a pretty strong shared support zone. That's where the 2021 volume point of control is. I mean, in the short term, 2,500, but in the event of a deeper corrective move, certainly 1,800 is very likely here. I mean, it's definitely, especially if it drops below, if you look at the volume profile here, but below 2,200 and 1,800, it's very thin. So, I mean, it can move very swiftly through this zone here. That might catch a lot of people off guard. Bulls and bears might catch a lot of people off guard if it gets down there.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you have more things to say?
I was just looking at the relative rotation graph here, and Ethereum's, I mean, one of the reasons I think it might hold 2,500 as, or 1,800 as a strong, where did I say that was? Below there. Well, anyways, why it'll hold that support is that Ethereum's really kind of in the middle of the pack, towards closer to the comparison index is Bitcoin, but Ethereum is what I'm saying is it's less exposed to some pretty violent downside thrusts compared to its peers. I mean, when you look at some of the others like Solana, Polkadot, Crypto.coms, Harmony, Tezos, Shibu, I mean, Hedera Hashgraph. I mean, a lot of these other cryptocurrencies that are, in the top 10 popular by social media, they have huge exposure to massive double-digit percentage losses compared to Ethereum. Ethereum is definitely more supportive when it comes to how much lower it can go versus everything else. That's pretty much all I had there.
Okay, so So basically, you're leaning a little bit bearish as well on Ethereum, right? But you believe that, I mean, as a primary target is basically 2,500, if I remember correctly. And then if that fails to hold, then you'd see it going down to 1,800. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, as kind of like a major base low, I would be surprised if it dipped below 1800. I would be
Yeah,
surprised
yeah,
if it
yeah.
did.
I would also be surprised based on the network dynamics, you know, the supply and exchanges, the supply being burned, the supply being sent to Ethereum 2.0 smart contracts or deposit contracts. And yeah, and also on the on-chain metrics, right? The on-chain metrics show a lot of support at that price point. So it will be, I mean, it will be catastrophic to see it going below 1,800 because then I believe it basically leaves it exposed for for $1,000 Ethereum,
Yeah,
which you know, um,
yeah, and that's, I mean, that's not outside the realm of possibility at all either. I mean,
yeah,
it's a definite likelihood that 1K is even tested. But it really, because
yeah,
Ethereum has gained so much control of the market cap, it's a lot like Bitcoin in that its moves, while it'll be drastic, are not going to be as panicky compared. Well, I mean, relative to the rest of the altcoin market, it shouldn't be as bad.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, Kash, do you have anything to share from a lower time perspective?
Yeah, so the thing with Ethereum right now is like both Ethereum and Bitcoin kind of forming like this bullish pattern right now. On Ethereum, it's the descending parallel channel, and on Bitcoin was like a falling wedge, right? So both are indicating a positive, like a breakout if it ever happens. But considering the on-chain metrics, right? Like for Ethereum, there's still a lot of resistance level that it has to overcome. And right now it's losing this, actually not losing, it's actually moved past this one right now. And the only thing holding from a technical, holding Ethereum above right now is this 50 fib, which extends from July 20th to September 7th, September 3rd over here. Yeah. So again, very similar to what I'm expecting with Bitcoin is like if it closes below the $2,700 level here, I'm expecting it to go into this reversal zone, which ranges from 2.6 to 2.2. Yeah, that's all I have to say. There's nothing really interesting happening with Ethereum except for this. From the short-term time frame perspective, I'm looking at a 2.4K retest. But as Jonathan mentioned, right, 1.8K is not outside the realm of possibility. And I think it's possible because the supply shock and the network effects, it kind of takes a lot of time to happen. And if you look at what happened during the March 2020 COVID crash, right, uh, Ethereum went down to 190, 180, and even after the majority of the market started rallying in 2020 and 2021, Ethereum kind of took its time, and that's when you saw a lot of ETH leave the exchange. Like despite people were taking Ethereum out of exchanges, Ethereum was still kind of stagnating, not moving as well as Bitcoin. A lot of altcoins were moving back then. So I think Ethereum is going to take its time, but once it actually pops, it's gonna go parabolic.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll just need to wait, right? I mean, for me, it could go parabolic or basically resume the uptrend with a decisive close above 3,200 based on the on-chain metrics. But if that doesn't happen anytime soon, then yeah, I mean, a potential downswing towards anywhere between 1,800 and yeah, $2,000 would, I mean, before, of course, it needs to reach 2,500, and then if that fails to hold, then 2,000 or 1,800 comes into the realm of possibilities for Ethereum. But yeah, that's basically our take on Ethereum. And if you like this content, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also make sure to follow us on Twitter.